and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. I have a dream. We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Well, this is Kanye Sibo, and today I want to just speak on this one last time because it seems like people are trying to change what it means to be pro-Black. They're trying to redefine what it means entirely. And it's ironic that the only people who seem to be trying to change this narrative of what it means to be pro-Black are those who are in the interracial relationships. Because if they were so secure in their relationships, they wouldn't care what people say about them. Right now, they're up in arms, going crazy over the fact that people are saying that they are not pro-Black because they have a non-Black partner. And that seems to be only bothering them. And it's very obvious that it really hurts them that they are being rejected by the Black community because their actions do not reflect who and what they are deep down. It's like I said, being pro-Black is not just simply having or doing activism. It is also a lifestyle choice that many people take on because they understand what it means to be in the American system, under American eyes, because it's basically an oppressive system that has held us back from being with one another since the time of slavery. When they would break up homes, break up the whole family dynamic, sell off the mother, sell off the father, sell off the children. So the idea of being pro-Black and being with one another is to basically take back the power that was taken from us. It is also the ideals that so happen to be rooted within Black love. So how can you be pro-Black if your partner does not reflect these ideals of being pro-Black? And how can your partner understand you as a Black person and what you've gone through and the history of your people within this country? You can support other Black people. You can support Black businesses. You can be all about the activism. But if your actions of who you're being with do not reflect that, then you're not pro-Black. You're just an activist within name only. And I'll delve deeper into why that is so a little later. Because there is so much to being pro-Black. That's like calling yourself a vegan and still eating meat. That would be like seeing a Muslim eat ham. It seems like y'all hate everything about the system except for the people who create the system, because you seem to want to have your cake and eat it too. It seems like y'all want proximity to whiteness just as much as the Asians and Hispanics. Because as long as you got your little piece of white ass, it doesn't matter. And it has to be said like that, because a lot of you want to be so-called pro-Black, but you refuse to be with your own people. Yeah, you may shop at a Black-owned store or go and support a Black event, but your partner does not reflect those actions. Why is it that you don't want to be with someone Black? Why is it that the root of being pro-Black is Black love? You do not want to be a part of that. Because yes, Black love is the root of being pro-Black. You have to have love for yourself and love for your people to also have love for someone that looks like you. And the goal of dating is to eventually get married and have children. So you want children that looks like you. So what is the issue here? What is so hard to understand that the ideal of being pro-Black is rooted within Black love? Because I, as a Black man, no matter how many times a Black woman has broken my heart, I've always chosen a Black woman over anything and everything else. And I know there are some people like that with on the Black women's side, that no matter how many times a Black man has broken their heart, they have always chosen a Black man. And that's because you don't have to talk about it IRL. You are about that lifestyle automatically. That's why you won't see people talking about it in real life, because it's just something you do naturally. It comes as a natural instinct. And when you see someone that's with a non-black partner, you may not say it out loud, but you're thinking it, that, oh no, this person is definitely not for their people. They may say they're for their people. They may show and do things that's for their people, but they're not really for their people. So it's not just an internet thing where people are talking about it on the internet. It's an actual lifestyle thing that you choose to be a part of. These are the type of people I would call either diet pro-black or pseudo pro-black, because they are not truly pro-black. Because if they truly were pro-black, they would be with another black person. And I think these type of people are more than just diet and pseudo pro-black. They are more on the lines of the Hotep that many people will talk about, because they're the type to act in a certain way, talk in a certain way, but their actions do not reflect who they really are deep down inside. If you remember the film and TV show Dear White People, that was like the main character, who was biracial, talking as if she were pro-black. But then when you looked at it, she had a whole white boyfriend, which made everything that she was saying come off as a contradiction. Many TV shows and films in the 80s and 90s had this character of the Hotep and how they were easily recognizable. Back then, many of the Hoteps would dress a certain way and speak in a certain dialect that gave them away easily. However, nowadays, you can easily tell who is really pro-black and who's really just a Hotep disguising themselves as pro-black by who their partners are. And that's how you could tell the difference between someone who is actually pro-black and the diet slash pseudo slash Hotep pro-black. Because the real pro-black people don't have to tell you about their activism or anything. Meanwhile, the diet pseudo Hoteps, they will do all of that. And when you reject their idea of being with a white person and their pro-blackness, they become up in arms with fury. Another way you can tell if they are a diet pseudo Hotep pro-black is if you say this one phrase: to be pro-black is also to be anti-white. They hate that phrase because they are the ones that want kumbaya, and they have this whole Martin Luther King mindset that one day we will all be able to hold hands together from the mountaintops. That truly solidifies who they are and their ideals and beliefs. I don't mean to throw shade at Martin for his earlier ideals versus his latter half of his life before he was assassinated. However, I do have to throw that in there because that's how a lot of these so-called diet pseudo Hoteps believe, because they think just being pro-black means to support other black people and to be active within the community doing activism. But they leave out the black love aspect and the whole being pro-black is anti-white aspect. And what I mean by being anti-white is that you're anti-white aggression. You're against the system that holds your people back. That would mean that you're against the religion of the oppressors, the patriarchy, capitalism, and above all, racism. So how can you be pro-black or even call yourself pro-black if you're in a relationship with someone who is non-black, who is anti-black, or you're with a white person who so-called did the anti-racism work, but in all reality they haven't, if they're not willing or want to dismantle this very system that goes against your people. So at best, you're definitely not pro-black because you're with someone whose whole history and ideals go against your people. So if you're doing activism, just do that. Just be a supporter of the black community, because being pro-black is a lifestyle that encourages the economic growth and development of Black people as a whole, with a purpose of increasing the wealth and population of Black people around the world, whether it be spending money with Black people around the world, or whether it be spending money with your local Black-owned businesses in your community or online. It is also promoting Black love. It is also encouraging Black youth with a soulful purpose to continue to uplift the Black community as a whole. White people who claim to be pro-Black or woke will never be down for Black people, because they will never see eye to eye with our perspective on Black unity and Black love. So if you are with a white person, then you are not pro-Black. If you are with a non-Black person, whether it's Asian or whatever else, then you are not pro-Black. Pro-Black starts in the mind and who you are with. It is also encouraging Black love, which is the root of being pro-Black. Being pro-Black is also anti-white. You must love, support, and be with a Black man or woman, and to uplift your people, because everything else becomes irrelevant in the end. Having a white partner limits you from being real and unapologetic when it comes to dealing with the reality of white aggression. This is why when you're bringing up the issues, they hit you with the let's all come together and take it on. Many of you fail to realize that they are setting you up for defeat with that mentality. Why? Because white people know that if Blacks begin to practice solidarity and self-preservation, they will be annihilated. Because white people are not going to dismantle a system they put in place to help them. Our freedom will come at the expense of their power. And thus, why being pro-Black is anti-white, and why it is also at the foundation of Black love, because everything that centers around us is to dismantle everything that has been done to us, against us, by them. If that is something that you cannot understand, then please do not use the label pro-Black at all, because you're just setting yourself up for failure in the end. The final aspect of what it means to be pro-Black is Black nationalism, which is a political and social economic philosophy to help Black people independently achieve social equality, economic empowerment, and governance policies within their own community. Being pro-Black does mean to be anti-white. It puts the interests of Black people as a community, socially, economically, and politically first, regardless of religion, ideology, or other beliefs. You could be a part of the LGBTQ community and still be pro-Black. As long as the partner that you are choosing is Black, then you are pro-Black by definition. Being pro-Black doesn't mean you exclude other Black people for their sexuality. Being pro-Black only means to accept, love, and be for other Black people who are for other Black people as well, and uplifting them, as long as your ideals are within line of what it truly means to be pro-Black. So if your partner is not Black, then you're not pro-Black. If you are Black and your partner is Black, you are pro-Black. That is not a hard concept to understand. Being pro-Black is not this all-encompassing, all-welcoming thing. So don't let these diet, Pseudo Pro-Black, Hoteps tell you otherwise. Just like everything else, being pro-Black started in the mid-1960s with the whole Black Power movement. It was created out of necessity for those times of what was happening to Black people. It emerged as activists sought immediate action and self-determination to counter white aggression. When white people talk about being pro-white, their pro-whiteness comes with being anti-Black. They hate everything about us. They don't want us in this country. They would rather see us dead over everything. And then these people went on to have children, the same children that you want to be so-called pro-black with while sleeping with them. So remember, to be pro-black is to be anti-white. The foundation for being pro-black is black love. Your activism must reflect your ideology in your activism. So if your ideology is that you can be pro-black and still date outside your race, then you are not pro-black. Lastly, if you're not promoting black love, then you are not pro-black. Because again, black love is the foundation for being pro-black. If you got this far, thank you for listening. Make sure you tell your family that you love them. And with that said, have a wonderful day.